quick disclaimer, in this little mini episode that you're about to hear, I share some information about raghouses. Now, I just want to say that this is only my experience. I'm not an expert on this. I'm sure there are some pieces I'm leaving out, but this is just what I know based on my perspective. Okay, let's get into it. What's up, everybody? It is Monday morning, 8:20 a.m. I am on my way to work, and I thought I would hop on here and give you my shower thoughts on raghouses. Over the weekend, two larger vintage accounts that are kind of known for being raghouse accounts posted that they were going to be selling a how to find a rag PDF with a price to be determined. And of course, this caused lots of controversy. I saw this post last night. I posted something on my story about it, which I'll get to in a moment. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of share my take on this, and then at the end, I'll just share with you what I know about raghouses, because I like giving free information. I mean, that's why I have this podcast. So this is going to be kind of a woke start, if you will, but under capitalism, knowledge is power and power is money. That is my belief. So if customers had your knowledge of how to find a vintage t-shirt, how to date a vintage t-shirt, how much a vintage t-shirt was worth, they wouldn't be paying your prices for that garment. The knowledge is the service that people pay for. People pay for your service of going out, finding these items, knowing about these items, and bringing them to them. In a way, what these two accounts did is no different. They are selling knowledge. Now, there's a lot to say about whether they are doing it in an ethical way. Another piece of this is that a lot of people in the community think that raghouses are like some silver bullet. Like, if I only had a rag house, I could really crush it. And a lot of it is due to accounts that post only raghouse finds. And of course, one of the most notable is Taryn, the thrift lord. And I think even he would tell you, he doesn't post those types of pictures anymore, but I think even he would tell you, like, it's not all heart-shaped boxes and genie all over prints. Not by a long shot. Raghouses are more or less like anything else. They're more or less like the bins. There you can find great pieces, but like anything else, you're sorting through lots of junk that nobody wants. So that's part of it. I think another thing is that in this community, people overestimate locations. Locations are great. They can really help you find what you want to find, but there's more to it, right? Like, we're not digging up buried treasure. Articles of clothing can move around. They can be donated and then processed and then sold and resold. So the location is part of it, but it's not everything, right? Like, location is only one piece of the puzzle. Relationships are really important. Knowing the right people and having relationships with people that will sell you their old clothes is is a big part of it. So there's not like some vintage orchard somewhere with grails ripe for the plucking. Things move around. T-shirts move around to different places. And, even if there is some guy's basement that's full of vintage grails that are all in bins, ready to go, that guy still has to sell you those. They're not just up for grabs, right? So at the end of the day, I think it all comes down to relationships. And I think people in this community could stand to put more value on relationships and less value on the locations of vintage clothing. There's no magical locations out there. There's just not. And rag houses are just one type of location. If you think, man, I really need a rag house plug, you've got the bins, right? You've got yard sales, you've got racks, you've got Facebook Marketplace. Like, there are so many other ways to source that aren't rag houses that could be just as fruitful, if not more. So I don't know. I think that people really, it's kind of like an elusive, magical thing of rag houses, but it's really not like that. You really have, it's one way of sourcing that has its own ups and downs, just like anything else. So I think if you want to do really well, I think the best thing you can do is diversify, is figure out how many different ways you can find stuff. Rag houses could be a part of that, but it's not a silver bullet, right? And I think it would also really help to build relationships with people that have access to these things. So this kind of leads me to the quote unquote secrets of rag houses. And this is the part that I posted on my story, that I kind of want to expound upon a little bit. Again, it's not really a secret. Like, this is all out there. Just like the bins are not a secret. Like, you can Google Goodwill Outlet, you can Google textile recyclers, which is what rag houses are. Anybody who posts about a rag house, I guarantee you what they are, the location that they are at is a textile recycler, or a wiping rag manufacturer. So I posted this link. It's wipingrag.net/USA if you're in the States. And what this is it's essentially a directory of all these textile recyclers. Now, a little caveat here. These places are not just open to the public, typically. Some of them are, but even at the ones that are, you might have to speak Spanish, which I don't. And for many reasons, I wish I would have paid more attention in high school Spanish class and would have kind of kept the Spanish in my fingers, when I, after I traveled to Central America a bit in high school. But yeah, I'm very white and do not speak Spanish very well. So when I've gone to rag houses, I've had to have a friend who's a native speaker with me. That's a big part of it, at least here in Texas. So anyway, these rag houses, which are really wiping rag facilities, what they do, to my knowledge, is they sort raw donations. And these donations come from those big boxes that you see on the side of the road that say, donate your clothing. I'm sure some of those go to actual thrift stores, but from what I understand, a lot of those go to these rag houses. And also, the rag houses get raw donations, or not raw donations, actually processed donations from the Goodwills and the Salvos and the other thrift store chains. So a lot of times what you'll see in the rag houses are items that have already been tagged and sat on the floor and maybe even made their way through the Goodwill bins in some cases. So some of this stuff has already been well picked over, but a lot of it hasn't. And so these raw donations or even processed donations are sorted at these facilities. Some of them are sold to clients on the floor, and these are wholesale buyers. They're not vintage heads. They are closer to your flea market ladies. They're buying, a lot of them are looking for new with tag items, brand name items, new school, Under Armour, Nike, stuff like that. And so some of them are sold to them. And those clients get priority at all these rag houses. They're there every day. So they're the ones that that the rag house managers care most about. Some of them are cut into cotton wiping rags. And that kind of has its own pain, because sometimes you see a good shirt, a good vintage tee that's being cut up to be used for a wiping rag. But that's part of what these places do. And then the remainder of that is usually bailed up and sent overseas. And there's a lot of research you can do about this. You can see the bales and where they go, but that's where they send them, is over to different countries. So like I said, knowing where the rag houses are is not the end all be all. I mean, you can know where every yard sale is in the world, but you can't be at every yard sale all at once, and you can't buy every t-shirt from every yard sale. And I would suspect that these guys who posted this, that they're selling this PDF, I would suspect that they know all this. They know that their knowledge is valuable and that they can monetize it. And whether that's right or wrong is kind of for the internet to decide, as we're seeing right now. But information is just that. It's just information. What really matters is what you do with it. I don't know. I think that's a good place to leave it. But those are my thoughts. Again, I know this is kind of a different format. There's no music. It's not nice, clean audio. I'm just recording this on my phone on my way to work. But I thought I'd check in and kind of give you my thoughts. So, see y'all later.